Hi everybody, Chris here from Flying Star Astrology, and today we're going to be talking about Rush Limbaugh. Stay tuned. So yesterday, Rush Limbaugh announced that he has stage 4 lung cancer, and I wanted to take a look at the flying stars for him to see kind of what they had to say about this particular situation. Rush was diagnosed with lung cancer on January 20th, which happens to be the same day that Pamela Anderson and John Peters got married, and I did a video on that. If you're interested, I'll post that up here. Anyway, at the time that he was diagnosed, his health direction had the star of new beginnings and also the star of illness. So the fact that he found out that he had lung cancer at this time is really no surprise, because when those stars come together, it can be about new information about your health, and that's what happened in his situation. On his success direction, he had the star of illness and conflict, meaning illness could create conflict in his work life, which it will. If you're being treated for cancer or any other illness that's difficult like that, it's going to affect your ability to do your job. His relationship direction is actually tied to the lungs and to the head. So anyway, at the time that he was diagnosed, his relationship direction had the star of beginnings and the star of endings. So what that can bring is that you decide to bring some relationships to an end and start new ones. And that would make sense in this situation too, because if you're working with new doctors, that would be new relationships. And then there are probably other people who are involved. He may be writing a will or changing his will. So that would be a change possibly in the relationship that he has with his attorney. And then it's also an opportunity to end relationships. So he's probably going to be going off the air periodically, which means that he's winding up relationships related to his career at this particular time. Also last year, there was a star sitting in the northwest called the fire star, and in that location, it's considered fire at heaven's gate, meaning that you don't feel like God is listening to you, or you feel like you're not able to connect with God, like you're being left all alone. You're asking for help and you're not receiving it because God isn't listening because of this star called fire at heaven's gate. So even if he had learned earlier in the year, last year, 2019, that he had this disease, he may not have found that he would be able to get the kind of treatment that he needed. 2020 is actually a better year for him to get the kind of help that he needs. Let's see, his wisdom direction has the star of sudden change. So, finding out that you have cancer is going to change the way you think about things. So he probably had to come to terms with, all right, well, what am I going to do? It's stage 4 lung cancer. I've been given this kind of diagnosis or prognosis for being able to extend my life for however long. I've been told this is how it's going to be treated. I've been told, I'm going to have to miss work. So all of these things are going to give you a sudden shock to the system and make you have to rethink your whole life, your career, your relationships, your health, your family, just about everything that has to do with everything you do on a daily basis. You're going to have this sudden change. So 2020, he has a completely different set of stars. The stars that he had in January were actually for 2019, because in Feng Shui, flying stars, the stars don't actually change over till later in the year. So now we're into the stars for 2020. And for his health, he has the fire star on his health. So this can make him feel burned out, but it can also put his health in the spotlight, which is not surprising. He made the announcement yesterday that he has lung cancer. So bringing this out into the open puts that fire energy on his health. So more people know about his health. It's going to be in the spotlight. People are going to be asking about his health. Hopefully most people will be wishing for his speedy recovery. But, you know, people are strange. Some people don't feel that way when people get sick. And then his success direction has the Star of New Beginnings. So this is an opportunity to do something new with your life. And when I say success, it doesn't necessarily mean your career. You could decide to do other things, which he's probably going to have to. If he's got stage 4 lung cancer, he may not be on the air for quite a while. So he's going to have to rethink what he wants to do with his life in terms of something that makes him feel fulfilled. That's what success is what are you doing that fulfills your life? So it doesn't have to be a job necessarily. His relationship direction has the Wisdom Star on it, which is good. This means he can connect with people who are knowledgeable, who can help him with as it relates to his health, and as it relates to his career, as it relates to other things in his life. So that's a good star to have for his relationship direction this year. Much better than last year for sure. His wisdom direction has the relationship star on it. So this means that he's going to be able to connect with people who not only uplift him, but support him in his ideas and help him to come up with ideas and strategies to deal with this situation in his life. So people are going to be an important part of his decision making. His doctors with regard to his health, his attorneys with regard to, you know, his life going forward and what the prognosis is for that. His bosses at work with regard to his career. And then even people who watch his show, his fans, things that they say to him are going to affect him mentally this year. But it should be in a good way. This is a good thing. So for the month of February, his flying stars show that it's good for travel. So it's a good month for him to travel if he needs to, particularly for his health, because his health direction has the double illness star on it this month. So he could feel worse this month than he has in a long time. And that could be due to a number of things. It could be to the advancing of the disease, or it could be due to the treatment, because chemotherapy does not make you feel good. So, or it could be a combination of the two. So this is really a terrible month, honestly, for his health. Hopefully he stays out of the west, because that's his health direction. Because when you spend time in the direction of negative stars, it affects you even more, even if you're not thinking about it, because that energy is there. So for those of you listening, if you're having health issues, or even if you're not, try and stay out of the west this month, because the double illness star sits there. It's not good for your health, not good for your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. Relationships, he has the energy of attracting new people. Not surprising, he was diagnosed in January. His doctors are probably consulting other people who can help with his health and their treatment for him. So new people are going to be coming into his life, particularly for his health, but possibly other things as well. And then his wisdom direction has the star that makes it challenging to make decisions. He's got to make difficult decisions, and they're going to be with regard to his relationships and his health. So the doctors are probably going to be giving him options for his treatment, and then he has to make a decision about what he's going to do. So since the star is showing difficult decisions, it's likely that the options for his treatment are not particularly uplifting. You know, what he hears about what he needs to do for his treatment, or what his prognosis is for conquering this illness, he may likely not get good news, and then the options that he gets about that bad news are not going to be particularly uplifting for him. So it's kind of like, do you want this bad thing, or do you want this bad thing? And so you have to pick which bad thing is going to be the least bad for you. So that's kind of the energy this month for him. So that's where we are with Rush Limbaugh. And when you have stage 4 lung cancer, I'm sure that there are people who have overcome it at that level, but stage 4 of cancer of pretty much any kind is hard to beat. So it's unfortunate. I know he was a very controversial person. So there are probably people who are not unhappy that he is sick, but he also has a wonderful fan base who love and support him. And I've even heard people who are on the other side of the political fence talk about Rush last night and saying that they wish him a speedy recovery, which is really nice. You know, it's nice to see people come together, especially when they have different political views, because we seem to be so divided as a nation when it comes to politics. So I wish for Rush and his family all the best, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.